The concept of self as a means for personal transformation was popularized by Maxwell Maltz, a plastic surgeon and the author of Psycho-Cybernetics. One of the insights he wrote about is that this self-concept isn't fixed. It's malleable. We can choose to shape who we are becoming. And by shaping it ourselves, we change our behaviors naturally. He put it like this, begin quote, "Once the concept of self is changed, other things consistent with the new concept of self are accomplished easily and without strain." End quote. The question is, have you been changing your self-identity on purpose or just letting the circumstances shape who you are? Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Self-Control from Fitness to Flourishing. Right now, you see yourself in a certain way. Maybe you think, I'm not a morning person, or I'm bad with money, or I always procrastinate. These aren't just empty thoughts. They're descriptive. With enough repetition, they become directives for behavior. You are literally identifying with those thoughts. Your self-identity shapes every decision you make, every habit you form, and every goal you pursue or abandon. When you think, I'm not good at this, your brain shuts down pathways to improvement. When you think, I'm someone who follows through, your brain finds ways to make that true. The scary part? Most of us build our self-identity by chance. We let random experiences, other people's opinions, and our circumstances define who we are. We give away the most powerful tool for change we possess. But there's the opportunity. You can deliberately choose who you become. Instead of letting your self-identity happen to you, you can craft it intentionally. The person who sees themselves as disciplined acts disciplined. The person who sees themselves as resilient bounces back faster. The person who sees themselves as constantly growing finds ways to keep growing. This is strategic self-design. High performers, from elite athletes to successful entrepreneurs, have figured this out. They don't just hope their identity supports their goals. They engineer it so it absolutely does. They construct a narrative about who they are that supports their efforts. The choice lies in whether you define your self-identity through a conscious, rational, deliberate process, or allow ideas, conclusions, understandings, and rationalizations to flow unchecked into your non-conscious processes as conditioning. If you choose to define your self-identity consciously, you will reap the greatest reward from the most gratifying effort in life. The reward? Trust in your own judgment and pride in the person you have chosen to become. The gratifying effort? The careful construction of a self-identity that produces thoughts, words, and deeds consistent with your highest values and your most important goals. Consider someone who deliberately chooses the identity, I am someone who learns from setbacks. When faced with failure, this person automatically seeks the lesson rather than wallowing in defeat. Their identity transforms obstacles into opportunities. There's a quiet confidence that comes from knowing exactly who you are and why. If you choose to allow your self-identity to accumulate by chance, you will reap the worst punishment from the least gratifying effort in life. The punishment? Distrust in your own judgment, and regret for the opportunities not taken. The least gratifying effort? The default inheritance of random beliefs resulting in a melting pot of chaotic ideas as a self-identity. For instance, someone who non-consciously absorbs the belief, I'm not good with money, may struggle making wise financial choices without realizing why, even as they strive to build wealth. They act upon conclusions they don't know they've accepted, feeling the dread of self-doubt with every step forward and every decision made. It becomes a self-identity of chance, not of choice. Most people drift into non-conscious identity formation because it's the default. It happens by the mere fact of being alive. Society, culture, and other individuals exert pressure on us to adopt ready-made identities rather than craft our own. But that leaves us open to influences that are probably inconsistent with our values and goals. Research in neuroplasticity and cognitive behavioral therapy confirms what Maltz concluded from his practical experience. We can literally rewire our self-identity through deliberate practice. Here's how to get started. Step 1. Examine 3 beliefs about yourself that guide your daily decisions. Write them down. Step 2. For each belief, ask, did I choose this consciously or did I absorb it non-consciously? Be honest about which came from external circumstance versus deliberate, conscious choice. Likely, many of your beliefs were not deliberately chosen. Step 3. For any belief you didn't consciously choose, ask, is this who I want to be? If it isn't, consciously craft a replacement identity that serves your authentic values. For help with this final step, check out Making Your Values Actionable. Will you be the architect of your own character, or will you remain at the mercy of random influences? Will you choose the gratifying effort of conscious construction, or accept the punishment of non-conscious accumulation? Shaping your self-identity is one of the most important tasks you can take on. The rewards are well worth the effort, both for your own life experience and the world at large. When you become better, the world becomes better. That's it for today. Catch you next time.